So we're all aware of Apex Legends. It's gone completely viral. The game just passed 25 million players in the first week of it being publicly available and even known about, so it's safe to say the game has been doing pretty well, but with all of this attention, it has brought up the question for everybody, is this the game that kills Fortnite? Is this going to be the game that finally knocks Fortnite off its pedestal and takes that crown from it? As we all know, Fortnite for the last year or so has completely dominated the gaming industry. It's been crazy to see all these free-to-play games just kind of pop up and just take over, you know what I'm saying? Fortnite shows up, it takes it a few weeks to hit 1 million players, but after that it just pops off. Now it has had over 200 million unique players, but Apex Legends in that first week crossed the 25 million mark, which is pretty great. I think we can all agree that is pretty impressive as a milestone, especially for a game that had no marketing beforehand, as pretty much during the reveal of the game is when they decided to actually release the game altogether. So it's done pretty well, especially for a surprise game and only for having a week. Let's be real, okay? That means that within a week, Apex Legends has probably had more unique players than Call of Duty Black Ops 4 has had in months, being one of the best-selling games of the year. This isn't a small feat. I think we can all agree on that if you at least understand, even to a small degree, what has been going on. So, like I said, with all this attention, everyone is asking me, oh my god, is this the game that's gonna kill Fortnite? Is this the game that finally kills Fortnite and takes them out? Now, first, we need to define, what do you mean by killing Fortnite? Okay, do we mean as in like it's gonna take all of its players away entirely, the game's gonna collapse, and it's just gonna become a failure? If that's the case, then most likely not, regardless of what happens. But if you mean it takes a significant hit to its player count, it is no longer the top dog on the block, and people take Apex over Fortnite now, then it very much so has a chance. But it's gonna be a long walk, really, for Apex Legends if it wants to take Fortnite out, which honestly we'll get into later on why that's not really the best thing for Apex Legends. But number one, it already has this completely on lock. The game needs to be free to play. So the only reason Fortnite is as popular as it is because it is a free to play battle royale game. If Fortnite was a $60 game, it wouldn't have anywhere as near the amount of the players that it has right now. There's no way it would sell 200 million copies in a year. Games like Tetris have sold 200 million copies, and it's taken them almost 40 years. That isn't going to happen. It seems impossible, and if it did happen, that would be something legendary. That would be something that would set records and might not ever be touched again in reality. So the thing about Apex Legends is that it is a free-to-play game, just like Fortnite, so there is no barrier of entry. You don't have to go to GameStop and pay $60 to get Apex Legends. Literally all you have to do is turn your console on, go to the built-in app, and just download the game for free. You don't need anything but that. So there is no reason for you really not to try it. This is the thing about games like Call of Duty and stuff. You know, people are saying Blackout's gonna kill Fortnite. It couldn't have killed Fortnite if it doesn't go to free to play anyways. It just isn't going to happen. You can't even compete with 200 million if you're selling the game for pretty much any price. Even if it were 99 cents on some Macklemore shit, okay, you're still not gonna sell 200 million copies. But if the game's free to play and everyone has no risk involved in actually getting the game and playing it, of course, then you can start talking about numbers like that. So in this way, Apex Legends very much so can really get up on Fortnite's level and compete with them. Apex Legends very well could hit 200 million players. It very well could get the concurrent players up with Fortnite. It very well could be a serious contender. The second thing is something else that Apex Legends has just been destroying Fortnite in since it came out, and it's viewership online. Now, all the Fortnite fans are all like, oh, dude, but yeah, the people playing Apex are getting paid to play it. Yeah, they were on the first day, but it's been a week, okay? And those paychecks are not there anymore. Believe it or not, yes, people are actually streaming the game because the game is fun, and it's enjoyable, and it has an audience. There's not always an ulterior motive, trust me. I mean, I'm one for skepticism when it comes to things like this, but it's not always about that. People are not getting paid to play Apex Legends anymore, and a lot of streamers have even come out and said explicitly that the reason that they're playing it is, number one, because it's fresh. The game is a week old, okay? Everyone's still hyped up over it, everyone's playing it, and it's getting a lot of attention. That's good for their careers, okay? But on top of that, they're not getting stream sniped. When you play Fortnite, it's a lot easier to get stream sniped than in a game like Apex that's brand new, where it's hard harder for people to get into lobbies with streamers if they're intentionally trying to stream snipe them. So, I mean, when you look at the viewership on Twitch for these games, let's go ahead and look right now. This is at 11:36 a.m. on the 12th of February, getting right into about noon o'clock here on the East Coast, as you'd say, okay? You look at that browse feature and you look at the games, Fortnite is at 75.6 thousand viewers, Apex Legends is at 341,000. The closest Battle Royale game to both of those would technically be Counter-Strike Global Offensive because it has its Battle Royale mode at 40,000 viewers. But a lot of its viewers are actually tied up into esports. They're not even tied up into the Battle Royale. And then under that's PUBG with 32,000 viewers. But hey, Call of Duty Black Ops 4 is competing, I have to say, with a whole 6.6 thousand viewers. It looks like Blackout really is here to contend with Apex, Fortnite, PUBG, others. So Apex is completely dominating Fortnite in the viewer counts. If this game was going to die in a week like a lot of the Fortnite fans were saying, it wouldn't be this way. They wouldn't have 5 times the amount of viewers that Fortnite has. Let's just be realistic and call it for what it is, you know. The game's new, okay? That has a lot to do with it, but the game is enjoyable, it's fun, people are liking it. So it has those two things going for it. So if you just completely left it down to those two things, Apex Legends might actually end up beating Fortnite, but the problem is that Fortnite is already it's established. Everyone already has played Fortnite. They know what it is. They know whether or not they like it or not. They're not going to have to try it, which isn't really the case with Apex. A lot of people don't want to try it for whatever reason. Doesn't really make sense to me because it's free, but Fortnite's established. It's already made its mark, okay? And they can realistically outspend Apex and they can kind of use their influence, but as Apex Legends keeps growing as a game, that influence that Fortnite can use over it is going to shrink. Now, a critical factor that is going to determine whether or not Apex Legends really can knock Fortnite off their high horse is whether or not they decide to introduce Apex to mobile devices and give crossplay to it. As many of you know, Fortnite not only is on cell phones and on gaming consoles and on PC, but you can pretty much interchangeably play with people from all of these machines. People on the Nintendo Switch can play with PlayStation 4, Xbox people can play with PC, people on phone can play with pretty much all of them, okay? So Apex Legends does not have either of those things. Now, they have said that they are going to work on crossplay for the game and make sure that people can play across consoles with one another, which is going to be great to see, but it depends on whether or not they bring the game to phones, because that's another thing that's helped Fortnite really take off. The fact that you can get it on your iPhone, on your Android, on your PS4, Xbox, Nintendo Switch, PC. Believe it or not, things like that play a pretty big factor. I mean, anyone can play. There's no barrier of entry, and it's on pretty much every machine people have. So people can play Fortnite pretty much regardless. There's no real barriers at all to playing the game. But on Apex, you can only play on PS4, Xbox One, or PC at the moment, and you can't play between those consoles. So if they can't do that, and they can't find a way to make that really rise that player count even more, like Fortnite figured out how to do, they're not going to knock Fortnite off of their horse. But let's get to the real moral of this whole thing, okay? And it's because this whole topic is ridiculous. I don't know if you know this or not, but these games can very well compete with one another and both thrive. It doesn't have to be about which game's going to come out on top. It doesn't have to be about which game's going to kill the other game. People who like Fortnite can play Fortnite. People who like me, who like Apex Legends, we can play Apex. If you like both, you can play both. This whole fandom thing of this toxic back and forth between Apex fans and then the Fortnite fans, it's ridiculous, man. Fortnite fans have nothing to prove, okay? You just need to get back to your 4th grade math homework. But there's no reason to be bickering and fighting over this, okay? Both games prove an immense point to the gaming industry that actually matters. Free-to-play games not only are here to stay, but they can actually beat AAA games even when they have better microtransaction systems, they're more fair when it comes to progression, and they're more fun than the AAA games. Games like this are making video games better, and then both of them, when directly having one another to compete with, only can get better. The competition can only make these games better because, well, you have to compete. If you're Apex, we don't want Fortnite to continue to keep us under. We gotta make the game better. We need to try to take Fortnite fans by making a better game. Fortnite, they're kind of scared of Apex right now, let's be honest. Epic has been marketing on Apex Legends Google searches and other things. They're doing a lot of giveaways and all this different type of things now. Fortnite's, you know, they're a little bit scared because Apex has shown up and they've shown up pretty quickly. But that's a good thing because if you're like me, I mean, I don't think the game has gone in a great direction in the last maybe 7 months, and it hasn't been enjoyable to me. So maybe with Apex directly competing with them and being really the first game that can truly compete with them in a long time, they're going to get their head back in the game and they're going to make Fortnite a better game, because you don't want Apex coming in and taking over. It doesn't always have to be against one another, you know? We're all fans of video games. We all love gaming, okay? Why do we have to fight? Why do we have to fight about which game's better? Okay, why do we have to fight about the Fortnite fans being 12, and why do we have to fight about the Apex Legends fans only playing a ripoff of Fortnite? Which it's not, by the way, that's a stupid point, but can't we all just enjoy the games that we're playing? You know what I'm saying? Like, if you think Apex Legends is a good game because it's a complete quality game, just enjoy it, man. You don't have to get on Fortnite's Twitter and make fun of the Fortnite fans. If you're a Fortnite fanboy, you don't have to get on Apex Legends streams and talk shit. You know what I'm saying? There's much bigger issues in the gaming industry that we need to be focusing our attention to and tackling. You have these AAA companies making games like Call of Duty Black Ops 4 that are entirely unfinished, that have stupid microtransaction systems. You have games like Fallout 76 that launch in basically a pre-alpha state as a $60 AAA game. You have these predatory microtransactions in just the entire gaming industry altogether, and games like Apex and Fortnite fix a lot of these problems, and they really do hammer the fear into these AAA companies. Why can't Apex fans and Fortnite fans just shake hands and just agree that we're both playing games that are extremely enjoyable, and we're also promoting things in the gaming industry that are extremely helpful, and both games are going to shape the gaming industry for years to come? I think the question's ridiculous. I don't understand why everyone wants to see Fortnite die. If you don't like the game, just don't play it. You know what I'm saying? And if you have a legitimate issue with the games that you're playing that you do enjoy, speak out on them. I do this with Call of Duty all the time. I like Black Ops 4 as a game. It's just extremely boring and has a lot of problems. But these two games don't have those problems. These two games are doing amazing, okay? And they both have their qualities that we should be celebrating. So let's celebrate them, and let's put the differences aside, and let's stop asking these ridiculous questions like, oh, do you hope Apex kills Fortnite? Because, to put it simply, no, I don't. Fortnite has been one of the most influential video games of all time, okay? I don't want to see it die just because I don't like it or I don't like some of the people who play it. That's childish and that's ridiculous. Thank you for watching this video. If you did enjoy, make sure to leave a like, subscribe if you're brand new around here on my channel. Follow me on Twitter at SubToOptimus. I post memes, thoughts, and updates over there. It's also a surefire way to get notifications of all my newest content. And until my next video, guys, this is Optimus, playing some Apex Legends, but respecting Fortnite fans because, well, that's really the right thing to do. Just play your game and enjoy it, man. And I'm signing out.